So every time I switch colors, I go from a dark color to a light, or from a light to a dark. And I'm gonna make the width of my tote. And what I've planned to do is that I plan to make bigger stitches with thicker yarn and smaller stitches with smaller yarn. So just start by making a slip knot, and then I think I'm making chainless foundation because it is more predictable in sizing. So I just make the first row with double crochet, chainless foundation. It measures 32 now, and this is more thin, so I'm going to use smaller stitches for this one. And when I change colors, I just bring the color through at the end of the last stitch. So before I finish the last stitch, I bring the other color through, and then depending on what stitch I'm gonna make, I chain for that. So I chain one and then just turn over and go into the same stitch, make half double crochet. So the chain is just our turning chain. Now I'm gonna switch colors in the last stitch. I'm gonna bring the other color through, and then chain one, and then make the first stitch into the first stitch. And once again, when you make the last stitch before finishing, you change color, bring it through, depending on what stitch you're making, chain one or chain two. I chain one for half double crochet and go into the first stitch, and then I'm just gonna work my way back. Now I've tied all the yarn ends, and I'm just gonna make a slip knot and then crochet the other side. And I'm actually going to start at the top. It's more difficult to start where it's folded because it might end up being uneven over here. So it's better to start here and make sure that the edge is even, and then work my way down. So don't worry if you crochet over the yarn ends, because you can still weave them out in the end. So we're just going to go into each side and then just making single crochet stitches. But because our rows are so different in size, it depends how many stitches we make per row. Sometimes it's only one for these small rows, and for the very big rows I can make 3 single crochet per row. Okay, and then just chain one, and then just pull them through, and don't worry if it's not perfect. We have some, I'm using a small hook here because it's just a little bit easier to go through. I think this would work. So folding the sides into the middle like this, and then just pinching right here. And then when you go out like that, you have a fold right there. I think that would work. I made 30 rows and it measures just about 46 centimeters. And then we just take our bag. I've already crocheted the one handle on, and as you can see, this little square here, and I just crocheted around the 2 rows. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just place the handle out from the other handle, and we need 2 rows of the handle. 2 rows of the handle. We need 2 rows of the handle. So this is about here. And don't worry if it's not perfect. This is not a competition in how to be perfect. So you're just gonna hold it in place, and then you're just gonna go into the bag like this. So I just try and hold it as much as possibly straight. I don't do this, I just keep it as straight as possible, and then go into or around the row and around the stitch on the bag. And then when we reach up here where the edge of the bag is, we're gonna crochet around these stitches. So we're gonna go into here, just through the bag and through the handle, and then up like that, so you grab some of the edge. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So, and the same goes for the next one. So you can also just sort of fold it around the edge like this, and then just go through, and that way we make sure that it's very secure and can hold a little bit more weight than a small strap. And now again, we go to the side here, into the row, and into a stitch on the bag. Make a single crochet, and I'm just going into this, so in between the 2 rows as well. Forgot to say that. And then here for the last one, and then we have our last piece, which is just over here on the bottom of the square, and I'm just going through between the stitches, so right here in the hole, right here. And again, it's not perfect. So when you have worked your way around like this, you're just going to make a slip stitch into the first of these stitches, just to connect this square, and then we can break off the yarn and pull it through like that. And for the other one, we make a slip knot, and then I just make sure that this matches the other handle. 2 rows.